Hello, people of the internet. This is REDCUBE, everything coming at you with the main event of the evening, PATHOS going up against SHARX. This is the biggest match we have seen so far. Both of these teams have gone head-to-head throughout the season, and it is only week 3, and already they have a rivalry built up because they are just so good. It's going to be interesting to see how they translate with each other and how they work off of each other and exactly what the score is going to be at the very end. I am joined here once again by Wolf. Wolf, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Wolf. I am both the manager and one of the coaches for SHARX Gaming, one of the guys playing today. I'm a former comp player for ESA, and yeah.
So, obviously, we brought SHARX in to the kind of casting booth here as we have Wolf joining here, and it's going to kind of give a little bit more of an inside look at exactly how these teams are going to work with each other and exactly what we can pull out from all of the little plays and kind of things that maybe we weren't going to catch the first time, and you will be there to, let us know if we missed anything. But let's get into this match. Obviously, I do this in the beginning, just making sure all the FPSs are looking good and making sure everything is solid. Everything does look good. The bans are correct. The map bans are in. And that means we are going to be seeing Oregon first and then Coastline as the second map, and then the decider will be Clubhouse. So we have not seen Border today. And God, is that good. I as a caster and watching Border plays all the time, it's always great to see Border not coming into today. And we're actually going to be seeing a little bit of different maps and kind of different things to look at. So when we see Oregon as the first map going to be played, what do you expect SHARX to do on Oregon? What is their kind of go-to strat? Obviously, if you don't want to say anything, you can kind of keep silent, but what is like the basis of, what is the foundation of SHARX on Oregon?
Well, I'm definitely going to let, leave the strats to, have people see and, maybe leave it a bit more excitement than that. But I'll say Oregon is definitely one of the maps that we wanted. We kind of got lucky in that all of the maps that were picked today, we were very, very happy with, we're very ready for. And Oregon is definitely one of them. We've been kind of working with our Oregon strats, both with and without Mira, so we're pretty much prepared for whatever PATHOS is going to decide to throw at us.
All right, as I'm guessing PATHOS is probably thinking the same thing, but then second map of Coastline, how do you guys feel about that one? We've seen Coastline played a little bit today. We've seen some good strats and some bad. What are you expecting from SHARX on Coastline?
I mean, just from the past, Coastline has been our strongest map by quite a bit. In scrims, it's one of the few maps that we lose the most. I'm sorry, we lose the least on. We very rare. So hopefully that should be a pretty good map to get in there. I know on our last game it was the decider map, and we kind of realized that if we got to the decider map, we should have it in the bag. So hopefully that'll be the same case here.
All right, and then the decider being Clubhouse. I'm going to not say anything about Clubhouse because it's always good to keep the decider as a little bit of a secret until we get there. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the player lineups and let's see what the player profile is shaping up to look like. Obviously, we have PATHOS displayed on the screen here. Some of these roles, obviously, I want to say this before everybody kind of starts taking notes. Some of these roles can change. Some of these attackers obviously won't stay the same as well. Rainbow Six is the most fluid game, I think, on the market right now. But this is just a little bit of a glimpse of what we can expect. Deadbite, Curtis are going to be one fragger, as in Deadbite. Curtis is going to be the support. The flex and the in-game leader will be Ryan. Heckle is going to be their fragger. Penguin is going to be their support. Something to note about Penguin is he has been basically the top fragger for PATHOS for a considerable amount of time, but he still does have that support role tagged on him. And then always looking at the favorite operators, there isn't really much to say there except expect them and expect them to play very well with those certain operators. Now let's take a look at SHARX player lineup. This is going to be the exact same thing, but obviously with the SHARX players. So we're going to be seeing Bobby on support, Clicks on fragger, Jewel as the flex, Tug as the fragger, and Box as a support role. So again, guys, these can always change, and these can always just be a little bit more fluid than you would expect because this is Rainbow Six. But When you are looking at these roles, talking to you, Wolf, are you expecting these to change a lot, or are you expecting more of them to kind of stay consistent to what we're seeing on the screen right now?
I mean, we did actually just switch IGLs. We switched from Bobby to Jewel. Just some maps that we feel are a bit more suited to Jewel's play style and the way that we play. Clicks also, I'm pretty sure he's a fragger on the actual sheet there, but Clicks and Tug have been our two main fraggers for a long time. But the ops that we've been changing, we've kind of mixing it up. As the meta changes, especially in this new season with Alibi and Maestro, Maestro being definitely the more powerful in comp, you really have to kind of take a look at your strats, take a look at how you've been playing, and you got to change it up because you don't want to be predictable to other teams that you have been scrimming, that you have been playing. So definitely always a little bit of shake up there.
All right, so that's basically it for the pregame. The first map we are going to be seeing is going to be Oregon. Guys, let's get right into it. Pathos versus SHARX, the main event of the evening. Who's going to take it? We've seen the player profiles. We've seen all the build-up to this match. And now let's just see the match. Oregon for our first map. We'll see you there. All right, guys, here we go. On to the first operator bands here. On to Oregon. Obviously, Wolf, again, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions because this is your team. Who does SHARX want to get off the board?
Glaz is usually our least favorite attacker. That would be kind of my guess. Also, maybe a hardwall. We could be seeing Thermite or Hibana kind of getting kicked out of here. Just to mix things up, maybe change their strats a little bit.
So we're actually going to see Blackbeard. I mean, again, everybody hates a Blackbeard, so SHARX are going to be taking Blackbeard off of the, as Boilo is banned by Battle.
Boilo got banned.
And, but SHARX taking off Blackbeard, that's a very typical pick. Thermite, like you said, a hard breacher is taken off, but it wasn't for SHARX, it was for Pathos, so the only hard destructor is going to be that Hibana. Definitely will flip some strats upside down. I'm expecting a Mira. Smoke.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
Very interesting.
I know SHARX we've been playing a lot. We've been practicing some non-Mira strats. So I'm curious to see if that's what they pick. Of course, I don't exactly know what the players have in mind for what they're doing, but that's been something they've been practicing recently. So that could be maybe a good guess into what they're planning on doing. And
also taking off Smoke, I just want to wait a second to see who we get picked off here. It's actually going to be Maestro. So that's a lot of, there's intel taken out of Maestro, and then there's push denial taken out of Smoke. And I think what we're going to be seeing here from Pathos, the reason you pull Smoke out of the play is so they can get into that site quicker and they don't have to worry about getting brought back because of the toxic fumes that they could breathe in. I have just a little bit of intel on, obviously you have more intel on Pathos, on SHARX than I do on Pathos, but I am in the Snapchat group chat for Pathos, so I can sometimes get a couple things right here and there and see maybe exactly what is going to be going through their mind at that time. So this map, really, this entire round and all these maps coming out of here, there's a lot more information on these teams than a lot of other teams we've seen play, so it's going to be interesting to see, will they flip the script and kind of change that up on us, or will they keep it consistent?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's interesting because Jewel is actually the number 3 Mira in the world. So him playing on that Mira is definitely a very strong position. Although the interesting pick is, Box switching off the mute, maybe trying to fake out for that downstairs because, of course, now with only Hibana, you can't thermite that wall to open the main hatch downstairs. So mute becomes a much more effective operator when you put that mute charge up on that table. So, possibly making them think they're going to go downstairs, you flip that mute to a castle, and, suddenly the idea of how they're going to push changes.
And, okay, go on.
Yeah, it just kind of mixes up how the attack might settle in.
And another thing to note is we've obviously seen an upstairs hold here, and obviously, like you said, trying to change it up, maybe throw off the attacking team. Without that Thermite, I don't actually think they're going to be reinforcing master bedroom here, closet. But without that thermite, it's really hard to gain control of that closet area. So with a Hibana, obviously you can open up holes, but you're not going to be opening up a walk-in hole like you would with thermite. So taking that thermite off of the board is really going to flip a lot of strats on top of their head, solely due to the fact some sight lines in some areas are just not going to be able to be opened up.
Absolutely, and something you might have noticed recently in Pro League is that a lot of Pro League teams are choosing to switch to a B take,
Yes.
which can be harder. But when you have an operator like Yang and you have IQ who can go below and open up the mirror windows, things like that, you can definitely push in fast. Plus, you also have Dokebi, and you have Zofia, who excellent for concussion into that kind of above stairs white area, possibly keep that person from pushing back into white or peeking back into white. So you definitely have an opportunity there.
I mean, already looking at the way PATHOS and SHARX are playing, it's fast-paced. There's a lot of pushing, there's a lot of rotating. You're keeping the offense and defense thinking at all times, and that's what you're going to expect from these two teams. They are two very high-level teams that are wanting to throw the other team off at the very beginning. Obviously, Heckle has already gained control here of Big Tower, and is going to be trying to make his push in here through Attic. But obviously, with that Hibana, it's going to be a lot harder to open up those walls and kind of get through certain areas.
Absolutely, and especially that kind of writes out that take you're talking about going through master bedroom where you normally use a thermite. Now she's already used one of her X-Kairos pellets, obviously, and she's not able to open that up as big as she could.
As an IQ is going to chuck a grenade onto the pulse, but Tugmaster has already rotated that. This pulse is definitely proving to be a problem for PATHOS, taking a lot of time out of the push. As we're reaching 1 minute here, is finally going to go down. That is Deadbite getting the first frag. PATHOS are up at the start. Tugmaster, the pulse, who has proven to be such a problem, finally taking out Mira, going to be met with a couple shots, going to pop the Mira for Bobby. Just trying to establish a couple of lines of sight. Like you said, that B-take is going to happen. Jewel getting a good kill onto Curtis, and now it's back to 4v4. Bobby as well getting a kill onto Penguin. That is Diffuser down. And
now it's a very strong position now for the defense, having Diffuser. I mean, right on the edge of sight, although IQ getting the frag through the big window. Box getting the trade back on a Deadbite.
This is definitely the B-take we were talking about. Like you said, a lot of pro teams have been opting for that B-take, and with Diffuser down, it looks like it's going to be a no-take, as Heckle just has no control of the Diffuser, does not have control of sight, and is going to go down. SHARX winning that round in somewhat convincing fashion, but there was pressure throughout the entire match that we could potentially see PATHOS pull that one out.
Absolutely, and you see Box there on that late round rotate. Definitely something, he possibly thought the attic was open, maybe shoot through those Hibanas, or shoot the whole Hibana made, opted to go through the window instead, and obviously that came out to be very beneficial.
And obviously we're going to be seeing laundry room, supply room now. So now that the top site has been dealt with, we're going to expect PATHOS to know, okay, they're going to have to go downstairs. So it's going to be a lot more focused on those operator choices because they know where they're most likely to go. Obviously, sometimes we've seen teams like Fane, they've actually opted for a kitchen hold, which was very interesting. But I think with SHARX, they're going down to the laundry room. It's going to be a little bit more focused here for PATHOS, but I don't know if that's going to make an entirely big difference.
Absolutely, and you see they're opting to switch the IQ out, which probably is a smart idea considering IQ is not as useful downstairs, not able to shoot through that floor for the most part. Lion definitely a strong pick if they're going to rush. Coincidentally, SHARX changed out their Captain for a Doc, so kind of limiting their kind of anti-rush potential there, but they do still have Echo.
The thing we're also seeing is actually Capital getting opted out for that Lion, so I'm looking at the operators right now for PATHOS. I see a Yin, I see a Zofia, and I see a Capital. That's a recipe for a quick plant. That's a recipe for a plant right behind default very early on in the match, and like you said, getting rid of that Capcan, that stops a lot of rush prevention. So right now, either PATHOS, I think, are going to try to go for a quick plant, or maybe those operators are just there to throw us off, and maybe they're thinking of something else.
Honestly, I think that it seems like they're going to go for a hashtag. Kind of standard, if you played ranked, you know how this works.
Yeah.
But of course in comp it's a bit different. You have Mira, who put a Mira window up near kitchen, so she's able to look through that rotate. They're hassling meeting hall to make it more difficult. So staying on that hatch for a prolonged period of time becomes very dangerous and very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Especially coming into class, you can peek through classroom. Of course, they made a hole there, so you can peek from meeting hall into classroom. Spawning construction is kind of interesting. Probably gonna go for clearing out roamers, but like I said, you know, very strong meeting hall hold, which probably should keep that hatch not safe.
And the thing with meeting, not with just meeting hall, is actually we're going to be seeing a construction take here from that is the Capitao. Very surprising. So maybe recognizing that the meeting hall take would be very hard to do. Obviously on Oregon, gaining control of that main floor of kitchen meeting hall is huge for a team. And right now, we've seen a lot of utility and a lot of bodies be invested into that realm, so it's going to be difficult for the attacking team to really pull this one off. As Heckle is going to be able to get the kill onto Tugmaster, who is trying to retreat. And just like that, as Tugmaster again dying to Heckle, going for the reset here. I actually don't think that was planned.
I think he meant to land on the beam there.
Yeah, I think he definitely was trying to land on the beam there, but actually could get the reset if his teammates are going to be there for him. And now we have seen big tower control as Clix is able to get a kill back onto Ryan. Technically a 3v4 right now, but Heckle should be getting picked up here very soon.
Now notice that mirror there, it's a huge deterrent to not only picking that teammate, you know, it could potentially get another frag there, so they could be down 2 very early on.
Penguin, though, is able to get the kill onto Box, who is holding that Mira. That's a very interesting spot for a Mira. You don't typically see that, obviously, in ranked play, but in comp play, holding this big tower down is a huge part of the push, and that's why you see a Miro being invested there, and you also see a lot of bodies being invested there, but now we're seeing PATHOS recognize that and try to focus more onto sight.
Absolutely. You know, big tower is a very large portion of the map, and map control is definitely a big thing here. Penguin getting the kill on Jewel as the Mira. That's a very early pick, at least for Mira. Mira is usually one of the last picks. Bobby getting the trade back on the Penguin.
Looks like we're going to see the rotate back here.
3. Echo still in play, Ying in play. 2 very important operators late game.
Pint is actually going to come down. Echo not able to get that. Clix is able to kill Curtis, just runs right into him, and it's going to be all up to Deadbite. It is a 1v1 at this point because Clix is down. Deadbite not able to get the kill, and the defuse should be coming out here.
Clix actually not down with 1 health, able to get 3 kills with 1 health. What a guy.
And just like that, SHARX are able to win the second round on defense. And with a match of this caliber, with a match with so much surrounding hype, getting 2 wins, that's a lot of momentum in your favor because everything is just times 10 in matches like this.
Absolutely. I mean, the pressure can be on, and especially now that you're not going back and forth, you know, your momentum really builds up a lot more.
Yes.
And you know, if you start losing very early on and repetitively, you know, that can really be kind of definitely morally, not morally, I'm sorry, your morale really kind of goes down, which definitely can affect things on later maps. And now we see the lineup here. You have Glaz, Dokebi, and Jackal with the potential for 6 smoke grenades. Oh, changed it out to Twitch. So now still 4. That's very powerful, especially with Glaz's new buff. I don't know if not everybody knows this, but they actually upped the RPM of his gun. So now he can shoot more rounds within a shorter period of time, making him, you know, really quite a force. And combined with that Lion and Dokebi, that's quite a cancer squad they got going.
Yeah, we've seen Glaz before. He's had a couple buffs. Obviously, when he first got his thermal scope added, he was picked very, very significantly. And it was almost every round you'd see a Glaz. He then saw a little bit of dip, and then they gave him that fire rate upgrade. And now he's really kind of been brought back. He has been one of those operators you've seen teams ban just because how influential he can be. It's either going to be a Blackbeard or a Glaz banned almost every single time. Never.
Absolutely.
I don't think we've casted a game yet where both of those operators are actually in play, which is, I mean, that speaks to how important those 2 operators are.
I would agree, and especially smoke grenades are very important in countering Miras. You know, you can smoke a Mira off, and you know, now it's very difficult for them to see through, which is exactly what they did when they tried to take the B on the first round. They went up there, and Glaz going for the free fire.
Ryan was actually able to get
Twitch getting a kill through the door. That is unfortunate for Tugmaster there. But smoke grenades becoming ever more powerful as the new meta continues.
And that's why you also see sometimes the biggest nerf to certain operators is getting rid of their smoke grenades. They have been probably one of the best utilities on offense right next to the C4 for defense. They are utility that can flip around in favor of one team and another. So that's why you see smokes are so important, especially with Glaz kind of finding himself a pretty fortunate buff. As Penguin, I think, Ryan, that is able to pop one of the mirrors. So line of sight is going to be opened up there.
Yeah, and that's actually, especially getting Tugmaster as the pulse out very early, because you do have so much smoke potential, plus the Lion there on the attacking team, getting rid of an operator who's able to kind of counter that without being in harm's way is very important.
And that's what you always see if you've watched Canadian. He plays Pulse on this map very well. He just kind of sits under the offense until the time is right to either chuck a C4 below or go for the flank. Bobby's able to get a kill onto Deadbite, though. Goes another flick onto Curtis. What a shot there from Bobby. Just peeking through that popped Mira. Penguin, though, is able to trade back up. It is back to 3v3. Good shot there from Bobby. Penguin says, okay, let's trade it up. Let's not let him get too much momentum there. And we're back here.
But peeking those windows can be very, very dangerous, especially Bobby already knows somebody's there. He's ready for somebody to be there. Both Dokebi and, peeking big window there is Twitch are both very dangerous propositions. Clicks trading fire with Hibana all the way down at the end of Attic.
In that gunfight, you're expecting Hibana to win. She has the egg hog, she has the line angle, but Box is able to kill down Penguin. Penguin, I think, is the top fragger. That is Diffuser as well, so that's a lot of time to rotate, and it's going to be all up to Heckle once again. We've seen Heckle in this position in almost every single round so far, and SHARX are looking very, very solid.
That Claymore, definitely something kind of new on top of that trash can. Definitely you would not expect that if you've never seen that before.
Yeah, that is something if you're just kind of trying to go for that run out, it's going to just decapitate you almost, and just like that. That is why you see it there, and as we say that, talking about the Claymore, we forgot to talk about how good Bobby was that round. Able to finally wrap it up and get a 3K, I think it was. Knows exactly when that Hibana is going to push, and puts a bullet straight through her head.
That's siege timing if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many instances of that, especially as a caster. You really start to see so many times in Siege when timing is just completely off. It's either you see somebody holding an angle for an entire round, and then the moment they look away, somebody rotates. That has happened so much, but I mean, that's really just how the game is.
Yeah, and as you can tell, last game, SHARX, they were trading rounds, and
for sure.
Clearly, we, at least speaking to the players, they all felt they had a very bad game last game, and they did not come to play. I mean, they really came to make sure that their dominance is well known.
Yes.
And right now, they're proving that. They're up, 3-0 right now on the defending side, and attack is definitely something that SHARX have been focusing a lot more on than defense, because they realized that was their weak spot in the game. And that's what they're trying to push to get better at. So I'm really excited to see how, when we get to the attacking side, how SHARX plans to pull that out.
Yeah, so if a team focuses on that so much, you're expecting it to be very, very strong, and with already that combining with how strong the defense has been for SHARX, that's a lot to handle for PATHOS. And are they going to be up for it? I think right here we need to see a round win from PATHOS, because they're losing a lot of momentum very, very quickly. 3 rounds unanswered. SHARX are in a very good spot right now. They are looking at this right now and they're thinking, we've got this. This is going very, very good. So PATHOS need to step up and they need to say, let's stop that momentum. Let's kind of put a halt to SHARX' plans right now. Because right now, SHARX has complete control.
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing is that, you see these attacks continually not working, and yet they have the same lineup. There's no change. I mean, aside from the last round, I guess 2 out of 3 have been now the same, and that kind of makes you curious as to how much they can vary. Like, what have they planned for? And Ryan getting the kill on the Clicks through the wall, I believe. That's an excellent frag. Again, Clicks being the one that clutched out in the first round.
And there comes that Claymore. But he is a Doc, so it doesn't really matter. But that Claymore does come into picture there. But instead, Doc is just able to kind of shake it off and keep on going.
But he's very confused as to how that happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has no idea what happened there. He's definitely going to have to rewatch this VOD to figure out exactly where that Claymore was from. But, If that Doc went out there, that would have been a huge turn of events in favor of PATHOS. That would be a 3v5, and then you're definitely expecting the PATHOS to carry that momentum later into the round and maybe kind of finally get their first win.
Absolutely. Sharks are very lucky that that operator was able to get back up and kind of move back to the position he needed to be in. Ying just pre-firing through that wall, nobody's there. Maybe something spooked him. You know, Bana has been going to the same spot every single time. You know, if Sharks are able to pick up on that, that could be an easy frag if they prepare for that injury.
Yeah, if they recognize exactly where that Hibana is coming from, you could potentially even see just a lucky pre-fire come out before she even places her Xcaros down and pop her right in the head as Jewel gets a nice kill onto Deadbite. Jewel has opted off of the Mira as there actually is no Mira in this lineup, as we forgot to mention, and has gone to the Echo, which is very interesting to see, especially on a downstairs hold. You're expecting a Mira, especially when she's not banned. You're going to think to see that Mira almost every time. As Penguin gets a kill onto Bobby. Bobby was playing a very aggressive peek there. Penguin could potentially go for the pickup, or he is going to play. Penguin is able to get another frag, but Box is finally able to kill that down player. It looks like the plant is going to be coming out, and the Lion is as well coming out, so retake is going to be very, very hard. Echo not able to get his drone onto the diffuser in time, and there comes down the plant. It is a 2v3 now.
Yeah, again, Echo immune to that phone. Tugmaster getting taken out because of it. You have Ying upstairs, you know, probably holding that hash to watch rotate, and Dokebi gets the kill onto Jewel as the Echo. Very smart play. The attack was set up well. The Lion came down through that door. They managed to set up that crossfire. They had one, of course, on that backside. They wanted hatch. They were ready for whatever game.
That was a very strong attacking round there from PATHOS. And what we saw from Sharks is there was a little bit of a risk there not going with the Mira, because we saw how much that Mira stalled the play in Big Tower. If you guys remember on that last round when they went downstairs, there was a Mira in the attic area, and it got one frag and also slowed down the attack very, very much. And then we saw Sharks not necessarily go for that Mira pick that time. That could have been the difference maker there, but there was also just great all-around play there from PATHOS, organizing their push a lot better than what we've seen before.
Absolutely, and that comes down to kind of what I was talking about before with Sharks practicing without that Mira, because again, it has been one of the more popular bans on this map, and so being able to prep for that is definitely important. Although it didn't work out there very well, I think the defense was still very strong.
I'm just letting everybody know that there's a little heart. I'm actually pretty sure these are the CCS settings. I'm almost 100% positive, but obviously some people disagree, but we'll see. I'm going to look at that after this match. Obviously, I'm not going to change the settings in the middle of a game, because that would definitely throw things off completely. And what we've been seeing right now, I think if PATHOS are able to pull this one off and then go into the rotation, obviously after 5 there is a rotate of sides. If PATHOS are able to get another win here, I think we're back on almost level terms, because we won't be seeing Sharks on match point, like very close to match point. Obviously you need 5 to be on match point, but if we prevent that match point to match point, if you know what I mean, I think we're back here. PATHOS are definitely going to gain a lot of confidence. They're going to start playing a lot better, and we're going to start seeing back and forth rounds. But if Sharks are able to pull this defense back together on downstairs, obviously they have pulled back the Mira and have also put the Mira in more traditional spots, I think we could see this one then start running away back in Sharks' favor, as Bobby is going to go for the run up here, not going to be able to see anybody. And just like that, no early frags coming out for the Vigil. We've seen Skaboza do that a couple times last match. Most of the time actually bit him in the back most of the time, but
notice Tugs being a little bit more careful around this door this time, knowing that he got pre-fired through there last time. But, you know, also getting Jewel back in the mirror is smart play by Sharks, because again, he is, you know, that is his best op. He has more hours than almost everybody else in the world. And so hopefully that will come to our advantage.
Yeah, definitely pulling. Sometimes the best thing to do is when you have a rough round is just go to what you're comfortable with. And obviously Jewel being so comfortable with Mira, that's exactly why you see Mira also being played. Let alone the fact she is still a very strong operator. Heckle is going to be getting the first round of Tugmaster. That is interesting to see. Tugmaster and Heckle have been going back and forth this entire match. It's really been them two who have been getting frags onto each other. Last match, Heckle got the frag on the Tugmaster. Now we see Tugmaster getting killed by Heckle. And before that, it was more of the same. So it's really back and forth between these two players. And it's also back and forth between these two teams as Bobby gets another trade onto Curtis.
Absolutely. And that line, again, coming towards the end of the round, is definitely very important. Now, Hibana, if Tug had been able to manage to kill Hibana, that could have been a showstopper. I mean, that really could have
for sure.
Made the attack much more difficult. Whereas, you know, Tug Lesion, obviously utility gets much better as the round progresses. It's not as much of a detriment to the defense.
As Deadbite is able to get the rotating Bobby, who I think his headphones just teased him a little bit there and was not able to hear Deadbite, whereas Deadbite was able to get the fairly simple frag onto the Vigil that was rotating. It's now going to be up to the site holders of Mira and Echo and the lone roamer of Jaeger, who is just sitting up here in Attic and could potentially get the push from Kitchen to rotate right in front of him. He's just got to be patient here.
Yeah, definitely Deadbite peeking is not expecting someone in Attic so late in the round.
Let's see what happens here. He's actually going to... I think there might have been actually a drone up there. Could have potentially got droned out, but actually, never mind. I think he was just checking that angle just to be sure. And that clicks could really come down and be a huge factor later in the round. And he is going to be coming down now. Will he be able to get the frag onto the glass? He is going to be able to peek the Hibana. No, that's the Zofia, but not able to get the kill. Glaz is able to finally take down Clicks. But
yeah,
the trade is
Clicks getting a little overconfident going with that pistol. Probably should have fell back. Jewel getting the C4 kill. Box, also we kind of missed it. Box got the kill onto Hibana there. Jewel getting the kill onto the planter, leaving only Glaz. With a Mira advantage, this should be an easy win for Sharks. There we go. Jewel getting the kill on the Glaz.
Yeah, finally, after a plethora of quick peeks, finally is able to land the shots onto the... as we see Jewel not very proud of that kill. But, I mean, he should be. It did win them the round, so it's still very, very good.
He doesn't know we were watching him the whole time.
But just like that, we are seeing one match away here from match point. This has been... It's weird to see because we've seen a lot of these rounds really go down to the last two players. It's been a lot of 1v1s, maybe 2v1s and things like that. There's never been a round that we've actually seen, oh, that's for sure going in one side, that's for sure going in the other side. Obviously, when a round reaches the end and like there's about 10 seconds left and you have Mira quick picking a glass, you're like, okay, this is probably going to go to the defense. But there's never been a round so far that has been considerably in one team's favor. And that's odd to say that because the score line is considerably in one team's favor. It's just
Absolutely.
The last second, the last kills, the last frags are going in Sharks' favor right now.
You know, but you know those final executions are really what make good teams good, and you know, average teams average. You know, you got to be able to kind of hold till the end of the round, be able to really get that out. Now I know a little insight into Sharks here. We see Tug on Twitch. That's definitely his main fragging operator. I'm really curious how he's going to kind of use that gun skill to be able to kind of push these attacks, especially upstairs. I'm not sure that they were quite expecting to be upstairs first, but you kind of see a typical hold of Mira, Echo. You have, of course, Jaeger in there to kind of possibly deny smokes if the Sharks decided to choose Glaz. But it seems that, you know, again, we have the top white Mira. I'm guessing we're going to have one in B. Seems kind of like a rank strat going on here.
Yeah, a very typical strat, not really throwing anything out of the picture, not really anything that is unexpected. The only thing really unexpected is the fact they didn't choose basement first and they opted to choose upstairs instead. We are also going to see Tugmaster is the only player on Sharks who does have 0 kills, and Curtis also only has 0 kills. So we're definitely looking for those players to step up a little bit. And as you said, Tugmaster being on Twitch, who is his favorite fragging operator, I think we should expect a kill out of him very soon.
Absolutely, and if I do remember from you know, past games, down at the bottom, Curtis was also one of the top fraggers. So I think it's interesting how we see the two fraggers kind of at the bottom here. Jewel getting the kill onto Curtis. Unfortunately, he will not be able to change that around, still down at 0. But again, that Bandit, very strong operator, you know, with this gun and whatnot.
He's, again, like, getting Bandit off the board and getting Bandit out of that tower so quickly in the round is huge for the offense. They don't have to worry about a flank, and they can really just take their time with this Attic push. And Bandit was really just, he put 0 bullets onto the other team. So that's just a really good roam clear there from Sharks. They now have to worry about Deadbite, who's going to be rotating, and just like that, Tugmaster able to get his first kill onto the rotating Jaeger. Just as I say they need to address him, they do just that. It's going to be 3 operators left here for defense, as Penguin's able to get a nice kill onto Clicks. It's always interesting to see Penguin is down as a support role, and he does play support operators, but he has been one of the fraggers for this team. He has been the one to get the most kills, so it's really interesting to see how fluid those roles really can be.
Absolutely, and I think it's very interesting that he sacrifices, Echo's gun with the ACOG to grab a shotgun, because you already have Mira, who has her pocket shotgun and doesn't have to sacrifice anything, and Echo managed to bring that out anyway. So I think it's interesting to see, maybe something a little different. And we also see Clicks getting killed there, now a 2v4. I'm sorry, not Clicks.
Clicks getting a kill onto I think it was.
No, Clicks is dead. Mute dying. I'm sorry. Mute dying. Yeah. Penguin getting the kill onto Tugmaster, leaving him with only 1 kill. Mira playing the site gets shot by Box. Bobby team kills Box in the crossfire. Penguin quick peeking down the hallway. Something going wrong here with the spectator cam. Jewel doesn't know that he's in there. He's going to switch sides.
Can Penguin clutch this out? I'm pretty sure if he gets this kill, that will be a 4K. And he is holding a very nice angle. He's just waiting for that peek, just not able to get it. Jewel with that ACOG. That is a very long angle to hold from the Echo. And again,
absolutely,
go ahead.
Very impressive if he managed to get that many kills. I mean, from that spot, especially with the reflex and him having so little health. Of course, it was in Jewel's favor, absolutely, both with the ACOG and health-wise. But honestly, I think if Jewel wasn't so fast on that, I think Penguin would have got him.
Yeah, and another thing to also note is, in the end there, guess what it was? 1v1 once again. It's always just that last inch, that last step has been the issue for Pathos. I'm almost 100% positive. Every round has had a difference of players of no more than 2. It's always been very, very close. It's just like you said, the difference between an average team and the difference between a great team is who can last the longest. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Who's going to be able to get the last frag? Who's going to be able to win the round in the end? It's been SHARX this entire time. That's where you see them at match point.
Absolutely. And again, we see Box going from the Sledge to the Lion, just the same as last round. Now, Clicks is switching out the IQ for an Ash. I know for a fact that's definitely one of his better fragging operators. You see the same lineup on defense, with the exception of switching out Bandit for an Ella, hopefully getting Curtis, back into the fragging roles again. Him previously being one of the better fraggers on Pathos.
And it's always interesting to see as we take a look at the scoreboard. Penguin, the main support player for sure for Pathos, is the top fragger. Penguin, I think, has been, for Pathos this entire season, has been the, I don't want to say MVP because, it's just the beginning of the season, but he has been the best player for Pathos for sure. He's always at the top of the leaderboard, and he is just so hard to get rid of. He's so hard to kill. He is an issue. He kind of reminds me of a Goga style play. If anybody is familiar with Penta, Goga is a very strong support player for them. And Penguin kind of reminds me of that. Obviously, I kind of want to say he reminds me of Pengu because his name is Penguin, but just the play style definitely reminds me of Goga a little bit.
Absolutely. Penguin coming up for the early pick on the Jewel. Box getting Penguin. I kind of noticed that in the spectator cam there. He really rushed out. Mira getting the kill onto the Ash Clicks. Tug either having very little health or is down. So now we have a 4v4.
Tug is down. Heckle finally getting the kill onto Tug. And this spectator mode on onto Heckle is just really being an issue as Heckle's actually going to push this line and is able to get the kill. Very aggressive play here from Pathos. And it has worked out. It is up to Bobby to get a 4K here. And he's just going to say hello to the camera. Make sure that crouch button is working nice and fine.
Absolutely. And you can see, SHARX being a little overconfident, probably not droning as much as they should. Whereas, if they had done that proper drone, they would have seen Echo in there. And, possibly because that's the round advantage, they're getting there. But also, they do like to have really fast attacks. And, sometimes part of fast attacks is maybe not droning as well to try to be able to get in more quickly.
And the operator choice does point to a fast attack. We see Habana, Ash, Lion, and Zofia, all operators, so you want to get in there quickly and just kind of it's basically a disruption style of push and just kind of throw off the team. We saw that here. It's just Pathos had a good answer for it. Obviously, though, like we've said before, Rainbow Six is such a fluid game. You really never know what could happen. Bobby could easily clutch this out. If he just plays his cards correctly.
Absolutely. Again, now notice he is kind of running relatively low on ammunition. He only has about 2 mags left, including the one he has, which against 4 people, could be more difficult. It seems like most of Pathos have rotated to be on the diffuser in construction. Unfortunately, Bobby was not able to get that, but he goes down the stairs, hoping getting a flank off onto Pathos, who still seem to be very distracted up in construction. Mira in meeting hall. I think Bobby might hear him. He's clearly looking for somebody there.
He clearly sees something or knows someone is somewhere, as he's taking a lot of time to just scout out meeting hall. But either way, is he going to be able to get the frag onto Heckle? He is not. Heckle, the mute, is able to finally get the kill. And now we see Pathos. That was actually the only round, like I've said before, that was the only round where there was a significant player difference. And it's interesting to see it wasn't in favor of the team that has the scoreline in their favor.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of times that is a bit more common, having, defense. You would think that they would usually have the man advantage. Yeah. But, Penguin really stalling that attack very early on kind of left SHARX a little disoriented. And, while they were disoriented, Pathos capitalized and managed to get a couple frags that won them the round.
And another thing to look at is Penguin, once again, even though he did get 1 kill, he was the player that I think really dictated that round, because pushing that construction site push very, very early on will throw off an attack significantly. And if I'm not mistaken, the player that was taken out of the picture, I think it was the Lion at the very beginning, and that's an operator you want to keep alive at the end. And Penguin getting a kill and getting a frag onto Lion very early on. Obviously, he wasn't able to use any of his EE1Ds, and that's just a lot of utility put down from Penguin. So great play on the Penguin, but he's going to have to do a lot more of it, and his team's going to have to back him up here as well, as Curtis is still struggling with 0 kills, but they're still on match point, SHARX is. So there's a lot of work to do here for Pathos to crawl back into this one.
Absolutely. And, again, with that round, I think, that was kind of a showstopper. It wasn't, a clutch where, oh my gosh, we barely won. They shut SHARX down very quickly. And, with that probably comes a bit of a morale boost, which might set them back on the right path, and, on the flip side, SHARX now saying, hey, hold on, we need to, take a step back, make sure what we're doing is, correct, and remember the basics, things like droning and peeking correctly. So that's something like that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, and like you said, the droning was, I think, the problem for SHARX right there. We saw on Villa, obviously I'm pretty sure you're familiar because the SHARX played on Villa when you were watching them. When you guys played on Villa, it was quick, fast-paced attack. Like, you want to get in there, get in the face of the defense, and when going up against a team like Evolve, who is a very similar playstyle, which is get up in the face of the offense, it was really just trading rounds, because it was who's going to be able to get the frags first. That's what we saw here from SHARX on that last round, but it's not going to work against a team as organized as Pathos, who are more going to be, I think, waiting for that type of playstyle, because they definitely have looked at the VODs, they have definitely looked at over everything. So rushing in like that is going to be very hard against a team as skilled as Pathos.
Absolutely, and I think that, SHARX, most of them have very, very good aim, and because of that, they rely on it. Yeah. They will rely on it. And, just because you have good aim doesn't mean you can substitute, droning for, being good with a gun. Yeah. Information is by far the most powerful weapon in Siege. And being able to use that effectively.
Right next to Chashanka's LMG, don't forget.
Oh, of course, of course. But being able to capitalize on that information, use it effectively, is how teams can really get some wins there. You notice Clicks now droning in a bathroom. I think he spotted the defender down there.
So I think Habana is going to be opening up this attic area, just waiting for someone to rotate. Obviously, that hole is not big enough for anybody to walk through, but I think it is just there so that if anybody does rotate, somebody will be holding it down. Curtis is in a at the downstairs here of next to dining hall, just waiting here in the hallway, waiting for any type of push. And that is there's only 2 roamers here, and it's going to be Heckle and Curtis. Very interesting, as most of the time you'd opt out of that mute instead of him roaming. You'd probably put Deadbite down there. But, I guess we're seeing a mute roam here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've seen Heckle getting some early frags, and I think because of that, they've realized, maybe that his gun kills something they want during this game. You see Castle getting the kill onto Ash. Again, Ash not super important for the late game, but definitely taking out a fragger is always important.
Yeah, and that is Curtis, so he does get his first kill, so I was getting definitely burst his confidence just a little bit. And we might be seeing a pixel peek here happen from Jewel onto that Jaeger. And just like that, Penguin is out of the picture. That is a huge operator you want down, especially since it's Echo. And also because it's Penguin, that's a huge kill for SHARX.
Absolutely. So Jewel now pushing on that pixel angle. He knows somebody's in there. Somebody got killed from there earlier. Box getting the kill onto Heckle again, one of the top fraggers there. Now they're really holding that B-side hard.
Yeah, B-side is definitely... And right now, we are seeing a complete rotate into that B area. The only player really not onto site is that Castle B. Is still very, very close. Is going to be pushing, and just like that, Curtis not able to clutch it up. He only did get 1 kill that entire round, and he's not able to pull it out against 3v1. And just like that, SHARX take a pretty convincing win on the score sheet, but when you look at the kills and the frags, it was still such a close game.
Map 1 SHARX.
All right, guys, so we'll be right back with you guys. Brief intermission here, about 3 minutes, probably 2, if the players are going to be quick enough. So we'll be right back with you guys in just a moment here. On to map 2, which is going to be, I forgot, Coastline. It's going to be Coastline map 2. It's going to be interesting to see. We'll be right back with you guys. Stay tuned.
Damn, son, y'all got smacked that first game, son.
All right, guys, we are back. Going to be the second map here of Coastline. PATHOS coming off of a tough loss there on the last map. Are they going to be able to respond? That's the question now.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be able to see kind of what they're thinking in the original map bans. Not map bans, operator bans. But again, this has been one of SHARX's stronger maps. And because of that, of course, it was a close game last game. Every round came down to something, 2v2, 1v1, and maybe PATHOS will be able to get the advantage on SHARX in this map.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to come down to is who's going to be able to go that extra inch again. Who's going to be able to get that last kill? Because every round, as we do see Glaz and Blackbeard getting ripped off of the scoreboard, ripped off of the attacking team. Not a very surprising ban there, but it's going to be who is going to be the team to get that last kill, because every round, last round except I think 2, we're down to no more than 2 players or 1 player, 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, things like that.
Absolutely. And again, we see kind of a typical operator bans right now. Maestro, Blackbeard, Glaz. Maestro definitely being kind of powerful on this map. I'm kind of expecting to see either an Echo or a Mira here.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Last game.
Oh,
Pulse, interesting. Well, I mean, Pulse can come in very handy both above Kitchen as well as under Hookah and under Penthouse, if used effectively. So a lot of vertical play in Coastline, so that's definitely a strong choice.
Something I do know about that Pulse ban is something I was actually just looking at in the Snapchat group chat when they were talking to each other between the map trying to figure things out. They wanted to get rid of that Pulse because they don't want to worry about anybody below them that can pull off a C4 kill, that can just kind of put a round in favor of SHARX. And we also saw Tugmaster last match. He liked the Pulse. He was a Pulse player for a majority of the match. So that also could be maybe a direct ban for Tugmaster. Tugmaster did struggle a little bit. So maybe PATHOS were thinking he's definitely going to try to break out on this map. And because of Pulse and how vertical play can really become a problem, let's just get rid of him.
Absolutely, and I think it's very interesting that on the defensive side, you don't see like any anti-hero, you don't see a mute, you don't see a bandit, and because of that, it'll be very easy for Thermite to get in. But I was assuming they were going to go Penthouse, and they did not. They went down to Kitchen. Again, a lot of vertical play, usually on Kitchen. I think SHARX are set up well. They have Clix and Zofia both able to open up holes. Jewel, if he wants to use his Thermite charges on that, or again, you got your reinforced walls. I'm guessing we're going to see Heckle, Penguin, and possibly Jaeger offsite. I know Penguin, again, being smoked, you don't see him offsite very often, but this is a map where you see a bit more roam.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a map that favors the roam game. If you have a strong roam game, you're going to get a lot of rounds in your favor. Something to also note with PATHOS is, you said SHARX are very good on Coastline. We've seen PATHOS, they have been a team that has been extremely strong in Coastline as well, as they know how to throw off defenses, as both of the Miras are going to be popped almost immediately. Actually, just one of them, I think that might have been an audio glitch or something, because I definitely thought I heard 2 pop.
I heard 2 as well.
Yeah, but might have been just an audio glitch there, but one Mira is already going to be popped. Jewel almost met with a barrage of bullets as he just punched that wall. But like I was saying, PATHOS, they know how to throw off a team on Coastline. Whereas Curtis is able to get a kill onto Jewel. Curtis, that is huge for him getting the kill right away. And Tugmaster, both of the players that struggled with frags, able to get frags immediately in this match. That's huge for both of them.
Yeah, getting Thermite off the board early on, definitely something important. Box getting in the kill onto Jaeger. Again, Jaeger being one of those strong roaming operators that we were talking about, how again, roaming can be so strong on this map. Jewel Hardwall getting him out very early is also very important. Box gets the kill in the smoke. Again, one of the strongest late game operators.
So 2 late game operators just completely decimated by Box. And Box, that was just a great shot on the smoke as well. Now we see Mira in a pretty nice position to kill the Lion, and she does. So great play there from the Mira.
Getting the kill onto Curtis with the pistol, changing things up. Now Tug with 2 frags, again, more than he had last game.
Ryan does get the kill with the C4, but Clix comes right behind, and I think that comes down to communication. Somebody called out the Mira next to the main lobby area, and of course Clix is going to answer that call, and with the Ash, who can just kind of glide across the map because how fast she is able to deal with that Mira. And a great play there, great communication there from SHARX. that was a little bit, I feel that that defense seemed a little bit disjointed for Pathos. It wasn't as strong as we've seen them before on Coastline, and I think they're maybe letting nerves get to them. This game definitely has a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of things getting put onto these players, but like what I've said before, pressure shapes legends, and I mean, that's what they have to do. They have to respond to this pressure, and they have to be a little bit better than what we just saw right there. As we see, Doc, instead of going for the Doc, is going to be opting for the mute, as I almost just spill a water bottle all over my mic. That would have been very, very bad. But we are good. We're good to go here. We're all safe. And now we're finally going to be seeing the... Actually, never mind. I was going to say that it's going to be the penthouse hold, but we're actually seeing a sunrise hold. This is very, very interesting from Pathos. We've seen them do this before. I think it was against Evolve. Yes, it was. They pulled off this sunset hold very, very well. It's going to be interesting to see, can that same idea, can the same strat work against SHARX, who I think are considerably more, I think, ready for a type of hold like this? I don't know, so this could be a risk that might not turn out well for Pathos.
Well, you know, you've seen this blue, defensive hold being a bit more common in Pro League now, kind of changing it up. And I know that SHARX also used this site quite a bit. This was actually their go-to site for quite a while. Oh, wow. So I'm curious to see if, when SHARX gets on defense, they try the same thing. But I think ever since, with the new ops and the new meta and the way things kind of play out now, this site's becoming a bit more viable, and people are learning how to play it a bit better. And I think because of that, not only does it, provide good gameplay for the guys watching, but the players also have to learn some new strats, learn new attacks. Whereas this used to be kind of a place that no one would ever use. And
another thing to note is, like you've said, this was SHARX's favorite site. When a site is your favorite for defense, when you're on attack, you're going to know how to counter it fairly well. You're going to know what you're going to be expecting. And the Free Fire is going to be coming out there from Castle. Does land a couple shots, but Deadbite is going to be going down to the hands of Bobby. As that is Zofia. Curtis able to get a trade, though, onto Box. And this has really been the story for these two teams, trades after trades. It's just who can go with that last step.
Absolutely. It's kind of unfortunate because you saw Deadbite there. He went up to Castle to kind of get that refrag. That's what he was set up for. Yeah. But he ended up getting killed by Bobby, when he was trying to support for the refrag. So that's kind of unfortunate for him.
Yeah, Deadbite was, I think, rotating to help out his player, and instead rotated into the crosshairs of Bobby, and Bobby's just going to pull the trigger and knock the head off of that Jaeger. So that's one roamer off of the board, and top control is pretty much in favor of SHARX now, as we actually might be seeing Mute go for the flank here. He is in a nice position. Ryan able to get a kill through the floor onto Jewel. What a great shot there from Ryan. I think that was actually, yes, it was through the floor, through the trap door, I think, actually. And that is a good kill onto Jewel. That is going to be the hard breacher out of the picture. Tugmaster, though, able to get a trade onto Heckle. And because Curtis is all as well so very low, this is now in favor of the attacking team.
Absolutely. Now you see a 3v3, but again, health in favor, like you said, that's a big deal. I mean, of course, you still have, one-shot headshots, in Siege very important, but when you have higher PM guns like Twitch's and like Ash's guns, it can be very important. One tap anywhere and you have a lot of them coming at you. You just kind of get caught the wrong way and you're dead.
Even if you miss your first couple shots, one of those stray bullets has got to land, and because these players are so low, as we see a gunfight coming out, this is very interesting here. Just one-on-one here as Pugmaster is able to get in. Clicks finally able to end Penguin is now the only last operator here is going to be Ryan with a sliver of health. One stray bullet will knock her off her feet, and we'll give the round to Pathos, to SHARX.
Yeah, Plant goes down. Ryan gets killing a Tugmaster. He's now playing that Mirror Wind, even though it's open. Mirror Wind is still be very dangerous. He's trying to rotate out. Clicks is watching that rotate, so I'm curious to see if Mirror will fall right into his trap. Still, again, it's a 2v1 with this long hold, very difficult to counter. Ryan now in a gunfight with Bobby.
He's able to kill Bobby.
Downs Bobby.
This is
again, so he can get back up.
And just like that, that's why health is so important, because no matter what, if Clicks missed all those shots and just catches the shoulder of that Mira, she's dead. But if she had maybe a little bit more health and was in a position where she could rotate around, we could have seen a completely different story. But once again, the same pattern is continuing. It's 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s. It's always down to who can get the last kill. And we've seen it so many times. Pathos are just not able. They're playing it like it's a sprint. They've actually been the team that has gotten significantly more first kills, but they've also been the team that has been the last ones. I mean, the first ones to. I mean, they have also been the ones to die the earliest as well at the very end, and that's what matters in the long run.
Absolutely. And you also noticed, in that last round, Clix played time very well. He knew Mira had to go for that diffuser, and instead of trying to, wait for the fake and have her get up, he caught her in the rotate, which was definitely, I think, the smarter play in that.
And that also comes down to communication, knowing exactly where that plant's going down, knowing when you have to put that plant down, and just maybe some comms telling them, okay, she's going to have to rotate behind bar because she just killed me from here. Just watch that bar rotate and now push. And that's exactly what happened. Watch that bar rotate, just saw her head sprinting across those bottles and landed one shot, and that's all you need with a operator that low, as well as it possibly being a headshot.
Absolutely. And it seems like here we're seeing the standard Mira setups. I think it's kind of interesting that Mira just put him down already, knowing that SHARX has been playing a Twitch, kind of leaving those to get, to get tased, which is no good for them. You see Tugmaster's drone just waiting outside, ready to kind of come in and get those. Box now on Dokebi, switching it up. I know Jewel is normally what he plays Dokebi for SHARX. Box changing it up again, changing out the line for Dokebi on this side. I think that's very interesting that they made that distinction.
So Twitch is most likely going to be moving in here with her Twitch. I'm just going to stay on it here for a second. And just like that, one Mira is out of the picture already. So missing that Twitch drone can be so detrimental for the Mira player because, I mean, that Mira is now just unessential and you don't have the one-way window. You just have an open hole in the wall. But again, those sites do work both ways, so attackers can still get caught out from that area.
Absolutely, and I think what a lot of people forget is that you can shoot that Mira from down below in lobby, and of course lobby is a very dangerous spot because it is so open, and you do have two players playing down there. You have Mira roaming, which don't always see, but again with a roam heavy map like Coastline, it can be a bit difficult.
As like you said, Ryan is in a very interesting spot, especially as a Mira who is a one speed 3 armor. She's going to be very slow, not someone you typically see on the roam. That's left for jobs for Deadbite, who is also on the roam, but is in a considerably different position. Ryan is still just kind of sitting underneath this site here. Very, very interesting hole.
Absolutely, and Hibana opening up a laydown hole, now a crouch hole from stairs. Again, kind of taking advantage of that open Mira, knowing that they can peek all the way down into the other side.
Yeah, so there is a long angle there now because of that Mira being completely out of the picture. His Mira is just the Ryan Mira. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, he kind of was roaming because he was in, as Deadbite is just going to be answering his phone at the exact wrong time. Tugmaster able to get 2 kills there very, very easily. Both players answering their phones. Curtis able to trade it back up though, but it is still 4v3.
Of course, now you have Mira downstairs, probably now rotating up, it seems like, preparing to do so. Sophia on those stairs, will Mira catch her by surprise?
If Mira makes this move quicker, I think she could have, but just like that, it's going to be all up to her, so she's going to have to make this very quickly, as this was probably the first map that we have actually seen go down to, I mean, not first map, one of the only rounds that we've actually seen a significant advantage in favor, as the C4 could possibly come out. That is not going to land. Very, very close, but anyways, it does not matter, as Tugmaster gets a 4K that round, is able to finally kill off Ryan. And SHARX are slowly running away with this one here.
Yeah, you can see Mira's hold there kind of backfired on her as Tug was able to peek down. And we kind of see Tug coming into his own now. Again, being, SHARX probably best frag board, kind of making up for last game. Whereas you see, people like Box and Clix, who were definitely the fraggers of last game, kind of sitting there at the bottom. Whereas Pathos,
they're struggling.
Definitely
they are
top
definitely
carry, yeah.
struggling.
Dropping three jelly donuts there. Kind of unfortunate. I wonder what flavor they are.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely not the Pathos we're used to seeing. I don't necessarily know if it's they've gone up against competitors that just haven't been at the same level as SHARX, as obviously SHARX are a very high-level team, as I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with that because you are. I mean, they're like league head, so there's a little bit of bias there, but there is still... They back it up with a lot of skill, and they are such a good team. And I think Pathos really haven't ran into a team with this high caliber skill and I think that's what's throwing them off right now. They're kind of not winning gunfights that they're used to winning, and when they lose that first player, when they lose their couple players in the very beginning, they start to collapse. And like I've said time and time again, this snowball analogy, when you have snow that is fluffy and weak, like we've seen PATHOS, you're not going to be making a hard-hitting snowball that is going to stay together. Whereas with SHARX here, they have had a nice compact snow that can make some really hard-hitting snowballs, and that's what we're seeing. I'm telling you, that is going to be the best analogy in just about a month.
I'm not sure it's going to catch on.
it's gonna, I swear.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because, I can't speak for PATHOS, but the way, SHARX train, they always train to play teams that are better than them, whether it's Pro, Challenger, CCS. And, doing that, you definitely lose more in scrims, don't get me wrong, but, you'll learn a lot more. When you're playing in a depth state, when people who are, better at gunfighting than you are, you have to rely on other things, which makes, strats and the way you push much more important. And I think that's why we've been seeing, SHARX have been positioning themselves a bit better than I feel like PATHOS has, even though they have similar gun skill.
Yeah, and that also comes down to playing hard opponents and playing teams that have, as you see Curtis holding down this area where Sophia might be pushing in. But
very common angle right there.
Yeah, very, very common. Just hiding behind the bomb. That is a spot that could easily get pre-fired, so I think Curtis... I think it is his best interest to maybe move from that spot, but I don't think he will.
Nah, he'll be fine.
And the thing as well as you're going to say when you face teams that are very high caliber, like Challenger League teams and things like that, not only does that work on having to say, okay, well, these guys have better gunplay than me, I'm going to have to work on my strats, but that also works on your gunplay as well, but it's just more in the background. And that, in turn, when you're going up against teams, like right now we're seeing them go up against PATHOS, which obviously aren't a Challenger League team, but they are still very skilled, don't get me wrong. Combining the knowledge of strats and combining how good gunplay is getting from those tough teams, it's a really hard thing to deal with when you are a PATHOS player.
Absolutely, and I can't speak because I don't know quite how long they've been playing for. Deadbite getting kill in the box kind of interrupt me there. The mirror going down, definitely important from clicks. But as a team begins to play with each other longer and longer, they start to build better chemistry. And the longer PATHOS players play together, they're going to get better. Bobby has been a new addition to SHARX. So last game, our players weren't very familiar. And they had just been kind of learning, and now you can see they've kind of fallen into their stride. Jewel getting the kill onto Ryan as the bandit. Nova somebody is behind the other mirror window. Dog going for the risky barricade, trying to make it so that he doesn't have to watch several angles. Mirror window is about to go down, and possibly use that as a rookie hole. Seems like he more X-Kairos on the bottom of that there. Doc peeking that open castle with Sophia bouncing her charges off the wall. Going to peek.
This is definitely shaping out to be a lot to handle for the defense right now. They're all backed into a corner, but you know what they say, when you back a dog into a corner, it's gonna bite. So is the PATHOS team going to bite hard enough? It's just going to have to wait and see, but it doesn't look like they will, as Jewel takes care of that castle fairly easily, but it's just looking the wrong way. Clicks, though, is able to get the trade onto Deadbite, and it's going to be all up to Curtis, who is the Doc, but is going to die from the hands of the pistol from Clicks. And that right there, like I said, they just backed that PATHOS team into a corner. They did not... PATHOS just didn't have an answer. They didn't have a way to stop that, and again... just the SHARX way of pushing is very overwhelming for many teams, and I think with the lack of trap operators in that situation, that's what kind of invited SHARX in, and that's why we're seeing a scoreboard 4-0 here, as there could potentially be match point after this.
Absolutely, and that kind of goes down to, how, like I said, how positioning is everything. Again, if you know you have a disadvantage or you're on an equal plane, you need to kind of better other strengths, You have, if you have some, really ugly guy, he better be funny if he's gonna try and knock some girls, right? Or so you got to kind of figure out what your advantages are and what your disadvantages are, and the better you know your disadvantages, the better you can kind of avoid them and play to your strengths.
Yeah, exactly. And like they say, that's adding on to that point is you learn more from your mistakes than you do the things you've done good, because if you keep looking at all the things you're gonna do good, you're just not gonna learn anything, and then your mistakes are gonna be exploited at the kind of snap of a finger. And then if you look at all your mistakes, that's why players look at VODs and things like that, you learn so much more. And right now, PATHOS have to learn so much more in a very little kind of space of time. They have to quickly hit the hard reset button. I've said this a lot of times, is the teams that are the strongest are the teams that can quickly stop themselves and say, okay, guys, let's bring this back. Let's figure out what we're doing wrong, and then let's address it now. We don't have time to look at the VOD. We don't have time to look at exactly what our moves are doing and what is getting us killed. We must figure out something on the spot, and we must do it in an intelligent manner. That's what PATHOS have to do right now. Are they going to be able to capitalize on that? Are they going to be able to utilize that use of kind of communication? Or are we going to see kind of SHARX start running away with this one?
Absolutely. And, the thing behind that is, as we saw, if anybody watched the Runic versus Evolve game earlier this morning, earlier today, Evolve did not adapt, whereas Runic did. And, adaptability in these games is very important, especially, if you keep getting beat on defense, analyze how they're attacking, and that's up to the IGL. The IGL really needs to take a look, and of course take input from his players, but he needs to kind of set the hard line saying, look, this is what we're doing wrong, we need to fix it, because if we don't, we're going to lose.
And I actually want to add on to that very quickly, because you just said something that I really want to add on, is the importance of his strong IGL as Box is able to get the first frag onto Curtis. The importance of his strong IGL is insane. You need a person that is strong enough to yell at his teammates and strong enough to fix his teammates' mistakes. And the thing is with PATHOS, when I was asking them about their player roles, they didn't know who their IGL was. That's a problem.
Absolutely. And with SHARX, you have a lot of these fragger types, you have a lot of people who very confident what they do, and because of that, a little bit less willing to take directions from an IGL.
Yeah.
And, we had an IGL, and, he did a good job, don't get me wrong, but, it just wasn't working out. And so we said, okay, this is the problem. We need somebody that,
adaptability,
has
adapted.
Absolutely. And who's been filling into that role already. And we now put Jewel into the IGL, and as you can tell, it's been working.
Yeah, it's working very, very well. And right now, PATHOS, I just think, don't have that strong captain role, strong in-game leader role. And that's what's been the difference so far. It's just those needs for a hard reset, those needs to kind of communicate to your team as Penguin gets a nice kill on the Box, train it up here, 3v3, has what's been the difference as Deadbite and PATHOS and Penguin are just able to get huge kills there. And it's going to be all up to Tug
by himself. Now they know where he is too, although he does get the frag onto Jaeger. Will Mira take the initiative to peek? I think she's probably going to play safe. She has that mirror window protector, and she can be able to see, although Mute is playing that one. But again, on site, hard hold. But Pugmaster does have time. He still has a minute left. And again, he's a smart fragger. He might be able to figure out what he needs to do.
As he's actually going to ping where that mirror is and try to shoot through the floor. Very smart play, and it works very well. What a heads-up awareness play there from Tug. Great, great stuff from him as he realizes his Twitch drone is way too far outside. It's going to be all up to Penguin. If I want an operator in this situation, actually not an operator, if I want a player in this situation, I'm choosing Penguin and Tug. These two are probably the best at what they do, and this is going to be a battle for the ages as the C4 is going to come out, but it's not going to be detonated yet, as I don't think he knows he has already rotated.
I think Tug's definitely going to push coming out here, get the surprise. Oh no! Penguin is able to get out of the way just in time to avoid Tugmaster's peek, get the headshot on him, and make sure his crouch button is working. You never know, sometimes you just gotta check.
Yeah, just make sure there's nothing less stuck in that space bar. Well, okay, mine's space bar, so I can't say that. My crouch is space bar. Make sure, whatever crouch button, make sure nothing got stuck in that. Maybe you were eating something earlier in the day. Just make sure it's working well and fine, and that's exactly what Penguin does. Great.
Spacebar. What is this, Counter-Strike?
Dude,
everybody binds it to in CS.
It's super quick, man. I just kind of like to super fast. But
ready to teabag your enemy at any time.
Exactly. Ready to just let them know who's dominant. And so that's what we saw from Penguin there. Just great movement from him, and that was the difference. We saw Deadbite and Penguin really clutch it up at the end there. But I don't necessarily know if it's going to be enough. A lot of the momentum is still in favor here of SHARX, as we still see a donut on PATHOS side. Heckle, who was a top fragger last match, is really struggling here.
Yeah, I think that was very interesting. I think Tug forgot to pick an operator and got randomly assigned to Capcan. That's why he's using that 6th pick to pick something else. Again, them bringing the Monty, I think that's a very interesting pick, especially at Penthouse. Well, we would see how that plays out. I noticed in the Evolve and Runic game, shields became kind of important to a lot of the pushes.
About to say that. I was
on this map on Coastline. So I'm curious to see if PATHOS will be able to make the same utility out of those operators.
Yeah, You beat me to it by just a couple seconds. Yeah, we've seen Monty, especially with any evolved game, and also Vigor, if you guys have been familiar, their play tomorrow, they love their Monty plays. They use that Monty very, very well, and they are probably two of the teams that you got to look at and try to figure out some strats with the Monty, because they are very, very good at it. Let's see if Pathos can pull something out here with the Monty. Obviously, we haven't seen Monty getting pulled out for Pathos before. It's going to be interesting to see what type of playstyle they do. Is it going to be a passive Monty that kind of just takes his time and slowly waddles through like a human drone? Or is it going to be the aggressive play we saw from Skiboza as the Monty, who got, I think it was 4 kills in one round with the Monty, and was able to clutch a 3v1? What Monty is it going to be here from Curtis?
Absolutely, and I'm now looking at the stream just now. Tugmaster is just making the kill on their Mira. I know there's been a lot of love for Tug in the chat. I think it's kind of interesting. So let's get some Tug hype up in there. See if we continue those plays. Again, now we're seeing SHARX on the defense side. It's the first round they played on defense. I think this has kind of set the bar for SHARX defense, and if they get rolled over, hopefully that won't be the case. Multiple rounds in a row, but this is definitely gonna possibly could be the morale boost that Pathos needs.
Yeah, for sure. If this is what I'm thinking here, if we see as a great first kill there from Penguin, that is going to be onto the Clicks, the roamer of the Jaeger, already out of the pictures. That's a great start to the roam. Clearly, the only person roaming now is going to be that Bandit, who finds himself in office and rotating all the way back into the main lobby area. The thing that we're going to have to see here is really how is this Monty going to be implemented, as well as the fact if we see SHARX pull this map out, this round out, a lot of the momentum you're definitely putting towards SHARX, and they're going to be on match point, and you're going to be questioning, can Pathos do it? I don't think so. I think if this map goes in favor, if this round, my fault again, if this round goes in favor of SHARX, it's going to be very hard for Pathos to come back, as Heckle gets a good kill though.
And whoa, and Jewel getting the kill in the dead bite. Again, that really long angle. Definitely not. And Heckle getting the kill on the box again, kind of picking up the slack where he hasn't been getting too many frags. But those long angles usually go in the advantage of the defenders, especially when Zofia wasn't quick peeking; she was just looking straight down that window.
Yeah, for sure.
Out in the open. Definitely not the smart peek there. Whereas Jewel, you can see, very fast, using the ACOG to his advantage. Staying out of the line of fire as much as he can. Definitely the way to play it. Now it seems like Monty's getting human drone. Switch over to Habana. Habana gets the kill on the Tugmaster. What a flick! But again, now it's only Jewel left on the side versus 4.
Push from Monty is going to be coming in. He's just going to block that door. Sees the Ash. That is one player off of the board. That was a smart play there from Pathos. Just wasn't executed very well. So we actually see Monty going to be putting his shield down and just stopping Jewel from rotating. So you're definitely expecting here, right now, Curtis should just stand still. He just needs to block this door, because if that plant goes down, it's going to be very hard as Jewel tries to stop the defuse, and that's going to be something very hard to do when
I think he went for the bait there, but it hit the echo animation. It's pretty long. I think it's kind of interesting. You see, the old-fashioned Monty blockout. He just stood right in front of the door and didn't let Jewel.
Nice try. Try to get around.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely good game sense on Jewel's part, and turning to get that flick. He knew it was coming. He knew that he was getting pinched.
Yeah.
Managed to get that, but again, that Monty shield's too big. Can't get around it.
Can't get around it, and that's something we've seen on Border utilized a lot, and it's very interesting because that entire round we saw Monty play very, very passive and just a human drone almost. But until the very end, when it was one-on-one with Jewel, that's when he started putting down his shield, and I think that was the worst position to put down your shield, because if that Echo killed the Monty, that round was it could have been a completely different story for sure. It would have been a lot smarter to just, as he did it later on in the round, as I guess he figured out, I'm guessing his players told him that, hey, maybe you should just chill out for a second. That's when he started putting his shield down. That's when he started blocking the door. He should have done that from the get-go, because that was a risk that was not worth taking. Yes, you want the frag, but if you lost that Monty there, we've seen how good Jewel is with an ACOG and how good he is as Echo. That really could have gone back in SHARX's favor.
Absolutely, and especially, with that high rate of fire bearing 9, we all know, Rainbow Six Shields, sometimes they don't work.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so you gotta, make sure that you don't provide any opportunity for, stuff like that to happen. And Monty definitely realized, hey, this isn't what I was supposed to be doing, and corrected it pretty promptly. SHARX going downstairs to kitchen. It seems like they're gonna do a bit of a sunrise hold. Quite interesting. I know this is a site that I feel like has been very contested today. I noticed in the earlier match today between Evolve and Runic, this never went really one way or the other consistently. It was kind of, back and forth a lot, and I have a feeling it's going to be the same way with these.
Yeah, it's really, this is one of those sites that you either win convincingly or you lose convincingly. There's really never is a clutch opportunity on kitchen. I don't quite know why. I think it's just how the pattern has been. Obviously, that can easily change because it's just kind of, maybe it's coincidence at this point, but that is what we have seen. That has been the pattern. It's either been all defense or all offense on this site. As we see Legion trying to go for a peek there, but not able to see anybody. He's going to rotate back downstairs and switch spots here with Box.
Yeah, again, Legion wanting to stay near site to get some of those goo mines out. And again, the longer the round goes on, the more utility he has. And, Box, he has been one of the stronger fraggers. I mean, he has, been there. So, again, well, Tug has as well, especially this map. But I think keeping Legion on site, definitely the smarter play by SHARX.
So we are going to be seeing Monty push all the way through Sunset and get into A, and is actually going to be fairly uncontested here. Echo is not looking at the Monty and could potentially get killed here, but no ADS coming out from the Monty. Very smart play there because I think that might have been a bait from Jewel. As a plant, it's actually
the plant is going down right now. Monty isn't necessarily covering. Tugmaster gets the kill. Bobby gets the kill.
How is Legion still alive? What?
Legion gets the kill. Click's now getting the kill onto Monty, and SHARX clean that up within 15 seconds. Man, that was a slaughter. That was rough.
That was... Wow. I mean... Okay, Jewel, yes, you could also be blind, but there was many times when... How did that Legion stay alive? I have no idea. He literally ran in front of the Habana, and I don't know. I have no idea what to say there. PATHOS, they had the advantage for that round. They had a Monty alive. They got the plant down, and then... Excuse my language here, even though it's not really that bad of a word. All hell broke loose. It was.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty incredible. I mean, just like we talked about Monty getting a little too aggressive, that's exactly what happened. He dropped his shield, and Clicks punished him for it. I mean, he really, Clicks got enough damage out before he could crouch to really take him out. And I can't believe that Jewel didn't see a Montagna, the biggest operator in the game. I mean, he's a walking door. How do you get that?
Yeah, there was a lot of very questionable plays from both teams there, but SHARX coming out on top in the end, and now put onto match point here. So Curtis coming out for the 6th pick, back onto Monty. It's worked once, it hasn't worked once. What's it gonna be this time? Does SHARX have the answer? They do have a direct counter with the Echo and the Legion, as it does put that shield back up, but Curtis has been putting that shield back up for them this entire time. And I think that was half of the difference there, because last match, if Monty just covered that plant, covered that diffuser, it's so much harder to retake the site. But he lifts his shield up, and Clicks probably gets one of the simplest kills on a Monty he's ever going to get.
Absolutely. I mean, he just destroyed his knees and really didn't give him an opportunity to do much about it. That's the thing, that Monty animation, you can't crouch until that shield is all the way up. Which gives you... Oh, Jewel getting... Her Box getting the kill on the Jewel. I'm guessing opening up a wall.
Bobby gives his... Bobby gives his condolences by giving him a nice crouch, and then Penguin says nice shot. So, advantage...
That's a little awkward.
Advantage maybe, going in favor here of PATHOS.
Maybe SHARX trying to give them, a little assistance. Maybe
so.
That for him at this point.
There's almost another one comes
almost getting shot in the head. Man, the SHARX are really losing it at this point.
As
pressure's getting to them.
Fun fact, SHARX, when they are infants, they do actually kill the other infants. So maybe that's just, could be just nature. I don't know.
Sure. Why? Not sure why you know shark facts, but all right.
It's just sometimes whenever you ask a fun fact. Also, if you ask Alexa for a fun fact of the day, she just tells you that, and that was the fun fact for today.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right. Pretty relevant. Penguin getting the kill on a Tugmaster. Again, taking out that Legion's utility for the rest of the game. Hibana sitting here with probably 3 health.
Looks like she's gonna go for the reset.
Is he gonna? I think that'll kill him.
I have no idea. I thought Heckle was gonna shoot her in the knees, but I guess not. They're gonna be just going for what they got. Obviously, they have the advantage not only from the team kill, but also a kill from Penguin. So everything is shaping up pretty well here for Pathos. But
absolutely, Hibana almost dead though, so it could almost be considered a 4v5. I mean 4v3. I'm sorry.
As she actually is gonna finally get reset here. Deadbite is now the lowest operator, and Clicks is able to get the kill onto Penguin. Now it is a 4v3. If you add up all the health, though, it is essentially a 3v3 at this point because everybody is kind of low on the offensive side as Deadbite and Heckle are both very, very low. But Heckle actually finds himself all the way in B and is going to be going down for the plant. Blitz is able to get the kill onto Deadbite. That is going to be the Zofia out of the way, and Diffuser is actually going to be coming down.
Now, hopefully Montagna will not make the same mistake. It seems like he's going to the corner, going to the bathroom. Interesting play by him. I'm going to the bathroom to wait out for the defenders. Them still having a smoke, that seems like a very poor decision to me. But we'll see how that works out for him.
I'm very, very confused here on why that Monty is not instead watching the Diffuser. And is, again, getting it pushed out of bathroom here. And is going to basically die from the smoke. That was just an idiotic play there from Curtis. And the Diffuse is going to be coming out. Is it going to come out in time, though? Bobby getting the kill onto the Hibana. It's going to be just the last second here. Defenders win the round. Match point. GG's coming out. And Pathos lose. That round was probably their worst yet.
I would agree. Montagna moving himself into a very poor position. Kind of waiting, just kind of letting Bobby get the kill onto him. And both Jackal and Hibana holding the same angle. And Bobby just using himself as a human shield in front. The DK was a statement. Oh boy. Some major shade going out there. Again, Tug and Clicks dropping 11. But, you know, Bobby using himself as a human shield. I mean, to cover Box. And I think Box would have been okay either way. But, you know, getting that kill onto the Hibana with Jackal so far out there definitely secure.
Good game, Curtis.
And I think the thing that we also have to take away from that is when you're a Monty, when you are a player that is just, again, a walking doorway that you can't get through. He's a walking wall, actually, because doorways you can get through. You can't get through Monty. And
well, they definitely
did because it was he made a better doorway than a wall. Obviously, the saying is window, wall, but window, whatever, blah 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 blah. But the way that Monty was played was just not how you play a Monty at all, and gifted the win to SHARX. It was a simple push. It was a simple hold. They got the Diffuser down. Me and you, correct me if I'm wrong, we're both thinking, okay, Pathos are going to get this round. Because that Diffuser came down in such a nice spot for Monty to just sit there. But then Monty goes into bathroom. Out of all places to go, you back yourself in a corner when Smoke has 2 canisters left. You're basically writing your death note. And that's what happened there. And SHARX able to capitalize.
With those 2 canisters, you can't exactly back into a corner. You know, you can't just sit there
you
as a Monty. But, you know, he could have been moving around, gone somewhere else and trying to delay time. But he just sat in a spot where he couldn't really do much. Although he did get a kill. He punched open a hole and was able to get a pistol kill. But it wasn't anything influential.
No, not at all.
You know, like getting killed in the smoke would have been. And he didn't delay any time.
Exactly.
It seems like the use of Monty throughout that whole game was kind of redundant. It honestly just took one gun out of the fight and kind of just set it pretty much a 4v5 for almost the entire game.
Like you said, it was a statement, so that team kill maybe just making it back to a 4v4 because of how, I guess, flawed that Monty play was. But in the end, SHARX are able to do quick work of Pathos in a game that you're definitely expecting Pathos to come out with a lot more fury. They seemed to be a little bit scared. They were not the rapid bulldogs we were expecting. They were more like scared poodles who just kind of cowered in a corner. And in the end, SHARX capitalize on all that fear, all that pressure. And looks like Pathos cracked and SHARX prevailed. SHARX winning it here. And we'll be right back with you guys with the post-game interview. Make sure you stay tuned.
sun come up. Ganja smoking, we got rum in me cup. Bad girls wind up on the dance floor. All the girls wind up on the dance floor.
All right, guys, the main event of the evening has been finished, and it was finished in a way that we weren't quite expecting. SHARX doing quick work of PATHOS, and now I'm pretty sure on every single team's radar, the team they're going to worry about the most is SHARX. SHARX the first week, don't get me wrong, they came out and they got a win, but they looked very shaky. Then they came out here, and I think they noticed that, and, well, we saw how good they were. We saw how they played. It's going to take a lot to beat them. But let's see what was going through their head in that win, in that very convincing win, especially with all of the things stacking up for this match. Let's hop into that channel real quick, and let's see exactly what was SHARX thinking, not only when they were in the match, but before and now after.
Shit talking.
Right.
All right, shut up real quick.
Hello?
Hello.
What's going on?
All right, what's going on, guys? So I'm just going to get right into it here. And the first question I have is, okay, so going into this match, PATHOS versus SHARX was hyped up to be a very, very big match. Did that change how you guys went into this game, or was it pretty much the same mindset throughout the entire time?
Wait,
I
you're
mean,
talking.
it did a little bit because
Lame.
essentially like me and Box went full try hard on this match. We reviewed their VODs. We knew everything they were going to do on Coastline. Like, they take the exact same operator setups, exact same strats. They did nothing differently on Coastline than they did versus their last match on Coastline. So we were essentially able to just counter shot them every round. A couple rounds we got a little bit over aggressive or cocky, but like we knew exactly what we could do and what we could pull off every round.
Yeah,
at least on Coast.
Yeah, that was definitely pretty evident, as there's times when it seemed every time they were on defense or even on offense as well, you guys were a step ahead of them the entire step of the way. And then that actually leads into my next question is, you guys were the most dominant team this entire match. Was there any point in the match where you thought, okay, maybe we should, kind of tone it down a little bit because they're starting to come back? Or was it really all in your control the entire time?
When the team decided to rush construction on Oregon and Jules here, just like Jules ran in and just got blasted in the chest with the Echo shotgun. I think it was at that moment where we knew we effed up, and we're all like, let's backpedal here a little bit and get back to our roots.
All right.
But as a team, I think we were pretty consistent the whole time with our mindset, which is just, take it serious, have fun, and just play how we play as a team, and just keep going forward.
All right, this is going to be my last question. I don't know if Wolf has any questions. He might, because you guys are his own, basically, team, and you kind of know so much about you guys. But the last question I have for you guys is, you are obviously right now, I think, in most players' eyes, the most feared team. Do you guys have anybody on your radar now next, or is it just kind of take every week by week?
This me. All right, so here's the thing, right? We're handing out free L's to anybody who wants to talk bad about SHARX, so come and get yours, all right, bro?
All right. I like it. I like it a lot.
Come get it.
Oh, I like it a lot. Lots of
We don't have targets on any teams at all, bro. They're coming for us. We're the top dogs.
I like it. I like it a lot. Definitely some rivalries going to come out of that one. But, I mean, you guys have the skill to back it up. So, I mean, Clicks, that is basically a open threat to anyone wanting to go head-to-head with Sharks. And, in my opinion, I wouldn't like to because you guys have done quick work of one of the top teams in the league. But that's going to be all my questions. Wolf, do you have any?
Yeah, this is definitely for Clicks and Box. I mean, obviously the two feistiest players on the team. You know, what do you have to say to Pathos after everything they've said? You know, we've heard a lot of, you know, for lack of a better word, you know, shit talk, whatever. What do you think? What do you have to say to them?
They got what they deserved. All right, I'm just saying we're handing out free L's. That's all I gotta say. That's it.
Oh, I love
All right.
They can come get it. That's it.
And then I have my second question, last one here. Now, there was one player in particular who was hyped up more than anybody else in chat, and that was definitely Tug. Definitely Tug. Now, what happened in the first game? Why didn't you? You know, you obviously didn't perform too well there. And how did your mindset change to go into the second game? And then also kind of walk us through what you were thinking when you killed that mute, because you know I'm sure everybody watching, I was like a 908 IQ play there.
That was
kind of know
insane.
what we want to know what happened there.
All right. Your first question. We were going through the mindset where like the game was getting hype, and I was like, all right, I gotta show off for this game because I have like a couple friends watching from like real life friends.
Yeah, for sure.
So I knew like I just want to try and show off a little bit. I was the most hyped player for the team. I guess unfortunately it didn't show out today, but after that game I just settled down for a second. Just thought, let me go back to how we usually play. And so yeah, for that one play where I shot him to the floor, I just because he was very loud behind the mirror, and so if I know he's not going to sit there, you heard me ping it for a second,
Yeah.
and that's when I went downstairs so I could just know exactly where to shoot to the floor to kill him. Unfortunately, I was not thinking when I went to the 1v1 and I shot the mirror. I did not think of shooting the wall. So my box told me that it was not reinforced. So if that would have happened, I feel like I could maybe clutch that. But it's just I just wasn't in that mindset the first game. But actually, like, when I settled down, just remember like, okay, this is just a serious game. We just had to play it out. That's when I started picking up. I'm sorry
Absolutely.
for not living up to the hype. But next time I will be more prepared. I will not doubt the other team less, and I would just play each game.
Big
to my
Daddy
fullest.
Tug won't disappoint, guys. I swear to God.
For sure. For sure. All right, is that all of it then for you, Wolf?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, so that's going to be it then. Thanks for sticking around for the post-game interview and just a great win out there today. And you've definitely probably caught some eyes from a lot of teams and maybe some rivalries getting developed here, but that's all in good fun. And I wish you guys the best of the luck for the weeks to come and the games to come. And I hope everything keeps going as well for you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that's going to be it for today. Pathos versus Sharks has finally reached an end. The main event has seen its close. Such a good match between these two teams. It lived up to the hype in the fact that there is definitely a rivalry there, but there's just some plays at Pathos you were expecting to come out a little bit stronger. The question then is, are we going to see some roster changes from Pathos? Are we going to see some rotations with roles? Is there going to be a major change for Pathos, or are they just going to try to perfect their craft? That's the question to be asked now. But before we kind of get into all of that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate it. This league is definitely going a lot smoother than I expected, and I really appreciate everybody who is here for the entirety of the journey, and I thank all of you guys for just kind of sticking through it. There's been some hiccups here and there, but it has been good so far. And if you want to join, like I say all the time, hit that Discord link below, send me a message, and I can try to get your team in ready for next season. Or if there needs to be a replacement, you can come right in and prove yourself on RCR6. I just realized, actually, that right there is the wrong name. That is actually supposed to be RCR6, not R6AL. Obviously, if you guys remember from earlier in the season, that was our name. So I'm going to be changing that right after this. But that's kind of completely unrelated. Great game. Pathos versus Sharks, the main event of the evening, has been finished. That's going to be it. But tomorrow we have 3 games. One as early as 3:30. That's going to be the earliest game I've ever casted. And because of how bad my sleep schedule is, believe it or not, I'm going to have to set an alarm for that so I wake up before in time. But I'll be there no matter what, and I hope you're there too. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.